All right, let's go ahead and jump into it for the day. It's your boy Sean. You probably already knew that though. Um, took last week off, and of course, that's where we got like the biggest move. That's how it happens sometimes, right? But none of this sell off is unexpected, in my opinion. A lot of what's going on right now is probably it's been a long time coming, honestly. So let's just jump in it and start off with SPY on the weekly chart. You know, we were looking a couple weeks ago, we tested this previous support zone and then kind of, I think it'd be important to note that we never closed above that zone. And then with this doji bar, I think on a weekly chart, it's a little tough to sell there, but we were looking for the shorts to come back down to 379 just based off of we had a move down with no bull close. So once we got that bull close, we're going to try to see if we can test these lows. That's pretty much all expected. I don't see anything that's really noteworthy on the weekly. The failed second entry happened here. But my target for these shorts is pretty much this 379 level. And let's check in on the daily chart. Big gap on the daily. Maybe I'd expect at some point next week we're going to at least close this gap and continue lower. It's a little less common that we're going to test that low and then close the gap. But regardless, I would expect that we're going to make some sort of push towards this congestion zone. And it'd be crucial because if we push towards this zone and can't get a bull close, strong bull bar, if we get like a trap, something with a wick, we'll probably just keep pushing lower once we fill this gap. So off this daily chart, let's see, off this high, first entry, anything from here is going to be a second entry long, but you're going to be buying, in strong like bear momentum. That's probably not it. It's kind of weird, nothing. I would really just be looking for this 379 test. Everything else is kind of muddy, kind of confusing. I don't really see anything captivating. Let's back it up and check out Bitcoin. Okay. Bitcoin selling off. It's still within that trend. Let's see. Looks like there's a trade though. It would have been this high. First entry fails. Second entry fails. If you're just going purely off the trend channel, there's a short right there. Set that trade up like that. And then, I think it's always initially safer to go 1-to-1. And then if you can get 1-to-1, go for 2-to-1 and just trail your stop. So all within this one move, we're almost there already. If you missed it, it's probably a little too late to place this order. And it's sketchy because like there was a little bit of sideways action. We're not that close to the EMA. This wouldn't be the most ideal trade. We're way too far from this EMA. We're not really even off the key entry point of the trend line. So I don't really like this trade, but it's there. And it's just something to note that it triggered. Again, I mean, we're still kind of looking for, man, 11,000 feels excessive. That feels super excessive, you know. I've heard more recently people talk about 24, and we're not too far from there. We could definitely do 24. I've seen 13, which is about my target. But we'll have to see. I mean, we'll probably get some kind of snapback to this EMA, and we'll really just be keyed in to see if this support becomes resistance. On the daily, see on the daily, you know, you can tell that that trade is so congestive. You know, it'd have been kind of tough to trade that unless you sold underneath this doji. And even that's a first entry to the low, but it has the right principles. You know, you just want to sell up here whenever you get a chance. Um, then your lower high came here, but the signal bar is bullish. And then now we're just breaking lower. So honestly, the expectations is that we're going to snap back into this range. So if we keep going lower, you know, I guess that's what it is. But expectations are we're gonna come test support sooner than later. So I wouldn't be too excited about any shorts down here. I don't think these are buying opportunities either. You know, none of these are buying opportunities until we move outside of this trend channel and we kind of consistently close above this EMA. See, for the past several weeks, we haven't even closed above the EMA until here and here. Which in of itself doesn't mean too much. You know, you want to see it close above and stay above. So when it just goes above and then kind of returns back under, generally that's just a sign of congestion. But we would have wanted to see it close above, come back to that EMA and still hold. That's a good look. So none of these are really buying. I think what we're looking for on Bitcoin is we're just looking for the selling to stop. We're just looking for wherever we find either strong support um, or that reversal pattern. But until then, you know, there's really nothing you can do with Bitcoin. I'd almost say, because, you know, mad people bought like in the 50s and 40s, you know. So you're down almost 50%. I mean, I wouldn't even sell it. I would just be waiting. I just have to wait this out. I was fortunate and I sold around 48 and like 42. Because once I saw this first congestion zone, I was kind of like, I don't want to hold congestion. You know, I'll hold it while it's trending, but I'm not going to just hold while it's going sideways. That doesn't make any sense. And so, really, it's the same premise then. For the next couple days while it's going sideways, there's really no reason to be holding Bitcoin. Unless you're from a trading standpoint, there's no reason to be holding. As an investor, you know, I guess you just hold until it works or it doesn't. But I don't see like trades, you know, and that's what kind of sucks. I don't see great trades right now in any of these markets. I think the the sell pressure mixed with this congestion, yeah, because everything hindsight looks easy, but you know, if you back this up and look at it like this, you know, even if you sell, you're selling right into support. There's nothing that would have really been particularly like, so you're looking, it's literally sideways, sideways. There's nothing there. And then you'd be eyeing like a second entry short, So you'd be so like right now, okay, maybe now I'm getting ready to look for a short. And then the very next bar, it breaks lower and then closes back up. So that it kind of blows up that trade from a signal bar perspective. I think on a if you just look at the numbers, then yeah, you just sell around 31,300. You just sell because it's at resistance. But you can still get stopped out. So you got to figure out how you're going to trade that, whether you have some sort of stop above the previous pivot. And so maybe that's how you play. When it gets to these levels, you just have the stop above a previous pivot. But that's not my strategy. So I don't really care about stuff like that. And then once it starts to trend lower, that's nice and all, but we're expecting the snapback. So I would really be looking for price to push lower, pull back. If this support becomes resistance, that'll be a bearish signal. And if we push lower and then come back with a strong bull close, then we'll look for those shorts to go lower without going lower than the previous pivot, even if that pivot is a little lower, wherever that pivot happens. Whenever we do reverse and come test this area, I'm going to look for that higher low trade. And those would just be like scalps. But I don't see anything convicting on Bitcoin right now. And then let's see about gold. So on gold, that one trade we talked about 2 weeks ago is at least setting up favorably. We haven't closed above this EMA, so we need to be kind of cautious. But I mean, this is kind of what you want to see. Looks like the trend line's holding. At this point, we have a higher low, so there'll probably be another trade that once we, this label is getting in the way. Let me see, can I do it this way for now? So once we get above this bar right here, that's another long. I personally don't like stacking too many trades on top of each other. But like right there, you're going to get a opportunity at least for the one-to-one. And that's going to get us to 1929. And then the 2-to-1 gets us to 1986. So right now you could almost have these two trades set up on gold. And that's what I'd be looking at on gold. And everything I said like a couple weeks ago is still true. We're in the middle of a lot of congestion. So these aren't great, but they are setups and they're developing. So, you might think about trading that. And that's from a weekly perspective. On the daily, I don't think it looks as tempting. Yeah, see, on the daily, it just looks like congestion. And on congestion, it's as likely to go up as it is down. Do I see anything in particular on the daily? And if we look at the daily, we're almost working with something like this where we have a trend, break outside, move to a new high, and we're just kind of going sideways. So there's really no bias on the daily at all. At all. And that's most of the market right now. Right now, given the economic situation with inflation and all the stuff going on with that, we're getting sell-offs and kind of low volume trading. And that is kind of amplified by the fact that we're moving into the summer months, which during the summer, it's going to be slow anyway. So there might not be too many like great opportunities. I mean, and there will be good opportunities. Let me not say there won't be any opportunity. There will be, but we're gonna have to wait it out. We're gonna have to really wait it out and let some of this stuff play out, you know, because I still feel the same for gold at least. You know, the best trade, I want to get short up here or buy it down here. But for the past almost 6 weeks, we we've touched neither side. So that's why we ended up drawing this channel line. And we're going to see it. If this channel holds, then cool, keep buying. Once it breaks, be cautious. Be cautious. Yeah, that's pretty much all I see, and that's part of the reason why I didn't do a video last week, because there really wasn't much. You see, the last week bar was just a doji. There's no decision I'm gonna make based off of a doji. Um, so not too much action, but at least on right now, gold is the only trade I see that might be worth either holding, taking, and kind of keeping an eye on, because that would be my target, would be 19, 18, somewhere in there. That'd be the target. Is there anything like in the hot stocks we can talk about? Maybe we'll find some like swing trades for next week real quick. I can't even see the ticker, so how is that gonna work? Okay. I don't know what this is. AMD. Let's see what AMD is. I know what AMD is. I was talking about DD. I don't know what DD is. AMD, um, you know, don't get fooled into going short, but it looks like a nice short. There's no technical setup, but it looks like a nice short. Let's see, off the highs, I don't really see a count. Let's take our time and really look. I mean, kind of, you know. I feel like on AMD, it's not a perfect setup. So that's why I'm hesitating. It's definitely not a perfect setup, but on AMD, I would look at something like that. You would have a one-to-one. Can you get out before? Yeah, see, you can get that one-to-one trade before touching this support. That's that's okay. And you know, we're on a weekly chart, so if you go down to the daily, you might be able to get a better entry. So like on the daily, right? I'd be looking for that lower high. I want to see price break above, fail, and kind of stay in this upper region of the range. And yeah, that's a good short. I like that short. Um, yeah. So AMD, I kind of like that. I'd just be looking for that lower high. I just need price to go up, fail, make a signal bar that looks like this, even like that. And as long as it's kind of in this upper side of the range, I would go short. And then just try to exit around these lows. I wouldn't try to hold past the lows too much. And if you are trying to hold past the lows, then you're going to tighten your stop, right? Just tighten your stop along the way down so you don't give up too much if it pulls back. So AMD honestly is yeah, I'd be eyeing this during the week. I feel like AMD is gonna have a good short play. Let's see, Disney, or sorry, not Disney, Apple. Um, the Apple play might end up because we have this gap. So the short I'd look for on Apple would be I want to see it pull back, fill the gap, touch that EMA and fail. That's a short. And just see if it'll come touch this other side. You obviously don't want to short here. That's way too far from the EMA after a gap. The previous congestion zone, we're like right at the support. So you really want to see it kind of push up and then fail. Um, we had this like short-term bull channel, and so that almost supports the idea still because we have a trend, um, breakout. We'd expect the test of the new high, so that'd help because if we do end up trying to go test this area, if we can't get to that area, that's gonna empower the short even more. And then if we do push and make a new high, I would then start looking for the shorts because we clear all of this bull momentum by making that new high. And then if we start getting red candles, you look for that lower high. So on this move down to the lows, I'll just be looking for that attempt. It goes lower and then it tries to go higher once, but doesn't cross the previous pivot. And then once it starts to go lower again, that's the short we're looking for. NVIDIA. Similar pattern, congestion zones, sell off, there's a gap. I'd be real curious to see, and it looks like NVIDIA doesn't always close gaps. I mean, look, there's a couple gaps already that it hasn't closed. So, that gap play doesn't work every time by any means. Yeah. Yeah, I don't see anything like super convicting right now. Just a lot of little congestion zones and then breakouts. The most likely scenario is that we come test this support. I don't know if we'll get a signal bar. There's not a lot of room for price to reverse. It'd have to push a little lower, then reverse. Otherwise, there probably just won't be enough room to make the trade worth it. But that's really all there is right now. I mean, there's not too many like just amazing opportunities. So the last thing I want to do is kind of see something that's not there. So in the overall market, I'm really for this week just going to look for this test of 379. And then I want to see what it does at 379. Yeah, I just want to see what it does at 379. But that's probably my next main target. So I'm going to kind of keep it short today. Nothing more to really go over with these markets. It's just been an absolute bore on the daily and weekly charts. It's just been just super boring. But we'll be back next week and we'll see if we get any better setups. So until then, trade well, and I'll see y'all later.